It's wonderful to see you all here this morning. And before I start, I want to acknowledge, because we spent so much time talking about technology has been much mentioned this morning, I want to make sure that you all know that our Chief of Technology, Dr. Carno, is sitting over there. And he makes magic, because with very little resources and not at all a huge staff, he keeps us going and keeps us in the 21st century, which is not easy considering our funding. I also want to know, is Victor Gordo's field rep Vanya De La Cuba here? Is she here? Okay, she told me she was going to be here. If she was, I wanted to acknowledge her, particularly since she is a very proud alumni of Blair High School. And she would want me to mention that. So that matters in Pasadena. It matters a whole lot where you went to high school. And Vanya went to Blair, and it's right up there with where she went to, and she went to college at SC, but she'll tell you she went to Blair first. And Blair got her ready for SC. I also want to thank Dr. Parnia, the new president of Pacific Oaks, is here, and the Dean Kalani. So they're both right here. So thank you for being here this morning. And I'm not going to do any more mentions because it'll be too much, but I just wanted to kind of point those folks out. This has been a year of highs and lows in the school district. The highs have all been about our district and all been about our state. The low, all about our district and all about our kids. The lows have been things that have been put on us by what's been going on in the state. But it is what happens with the kids that makes it possible for me to do what I do. People ask me sometimes, they feel sorry for me. You know, sometimes I get great pity. People tell me they're praying for me, and I appreciate all prayer. Please, and if you are inclined to pray for me, please do. Pray for us all. But there is never a moment when I'm around our students when I don't know and I am not validated that what I do is absolutely worth it. You all are absolutely worth it. So, all of the aggravation, you all are worth it. And I know that when I was a child, there were people that got on the school board and fought for me, so that's what I'm supposed to do for them. So they are absolutely worth it. So some of the highlights for this year, we had our Muir High School teacher, Manuel Rustin, who was named a Milken Educator, which is such a huge thing, and we are also incredibly proud of him. And Mr. Milken would tell you that all of the as far as he's concerned, all of the teachers at Muir were deserving of an award and that kind of recognition, that he does not feel like, we feel he's special, but he does not feel like he's special. He feels like everyone's doing the same thing, and he's part of a very important team, which says a lot about him and a lot about what's going on at John Muir High School. We have one of our teachers at Field, Tina Chan, won the 2012 Teacher of the Year Award for the two-way immersion at the Two-Way Immersion Conference, and she's in the bilingual immersion program at Field, which is really so exciting, and we are so happy about that. And you all can hear me, right? I'm not going too fast until closer? Okay. Do I need to? Okay. All right. So I'm not going to repeat anything, but I'll just go forward with a little bit more, with the knowledge that you can hear what I said. But I will say that Tina Chan was Teacher of the Year for Dual Language Immersion at Field, the Mandarin program. Don Benito Elementary School was named a California Distinguished School, and we are always proud of that. We started, as Mr. Gundry said, a second dual language program at Jackson Elementary School to go along with the successful program at San Rafael. And the early childhood educator in me, as some of you who've known me for a while, like Maureen, know that my roots are deeply embedded in early childhood education. We are starting the early childhood education program at San Rafael, added a preschool, a bilingual preschool this year, and that there is going to be a bilingual preschool at Jackson also to have that option for those families. So you're really beginning at the beginning in the dual language process, and we know that children pick up languages very quickly when they're young, and actually any language you master before the age of 10, you won't have an accent. So sometimes you wonder why, that's why. Washington Accelerated was honored by a visit by the Superintendent of Public Instruction, Tom Torkelson, just a few weeks ago for the tremendous job they did in raising student achievement on the STAR test by 12 percentage points in math and 14 in English and language arts. 15 points in science. And those students up there, those engineers in training, they are going to Well, we've got the robot rolling around on Mars. Maybe one of those students will actually be walking around on Mars one day, once they figure out how to get them back, because we want them to come back. Let's talk about taking them up there and leaving them there. I'm not too big on that. I want our students to come back so they can talk about it and inspire other people. But maybe they'll figure out how to get up there and get back. Maybe they'll come from our district. And then, of course, my Bulldogs, Pasadena High School boys basketball team, won the 2012 3 AAA championship. It matters where you went to high school in Pasadena. Now, I didn't go to PHS, my son did, and he always says, people would think you went to PHS and not me. And what was funny about that is it ended up on the website and in my official bio that I went to high school at PHS, which I thought was really funny because I didn't even go to high school in California. So I feel like one thing Alex said came true, that apparently I did. So, okay, I channeled it. And last but not least, there is this beautiful award-winning Blair Middle School campus, our newest middle school campus, your Measure TT Bond Dollars at Work. And I do hope you take a tour while you are here this morning. And I just want to give a word of thanks and appreciation and gratitude to the principal of this complex, Ms. Trudell Skinner. I cannot tell you, without making it the focus of my remarks this morning, how highly I think of Trudell. Trudell is a visionary, committed educator, one of many such people we have in this district. And I will tell you that for her, educating students is a vocation, not an occupation. And she takes on the most challenging situations if it will benefit a child. And she never gives up on them. And I do appreciate that about her. Thank you, Trudell. From the high to the low, from the mountain to the valley. Okay, there are great things happening around our district, and there are challenges to be sure, and the superintendent went into many of those. One of the highs of our district is his leadership team. The dedication of our school site staff, principals, teachers, classified staff, even our custodians are great. I don't know if you ever go to schools in other districts, but if you do, you will appreciate the way our schools look and the way their schools look. So even every aspect of this district people do are above and beyond. It's just really phenomenal. And they go above and beyond the call of duty every day, and it's something that I totally appreciate. And then, of course, we have the budget, which is the splash of cold water, the kick in the whatever, that brings us back down to earth and tells us that as challenging as things are for us all right now, that they could very well and very quickly get worse. We know what needs to be done. One of the interesting things is after about 10 years of national emphasis on research-based practice, we have more research than we've ever had nationally to tell us what needs to be done to improve educational outcomes for children in this country. And now, because of fiscal matters, particularly in this state of California, we're doing the opposite. And we can't say that we didn't know it would make a difference, because we have reams of research that says it makes a difference, and we're doing it anyway. Take the school day. We knew before we got in a crisis that we had the shortest school day of any Western industrialized country in the world. 220 is the average internationally. Ours is 180. And we've gotten permission to cut it to 175 to save money. Now, that's going the wrong way. Okay, we need a longer school day and a longer school year. And we are going in the opposite direction, not because it's good for kids, just because it will save money. And that's a real good example of going against what the research tells us. We need quality early childhood programs to close the achievement gap before it becomes a divide. Mr. Gundry spoke about how the gap is present in students at the beginning of their education. It's based on social issues and kind of what the educational enrichment is present in the home. Early childhood education bridges that gap. That was the purpose behind the formation of Head Start and the War on Poverty program. And I will say that we hope to be receiving a Head Start grant. We're in the running, and we'll know we'll know shortly, sooner than later, whether or not we're going to be able to do that. But in this city of Pasadena, and in surrounding communities of Altadena, Sierra Madre, La Cañada, and I'm throwing La Cañada in for a reason. You're going to know why in a second. We have some of the best early childhood programs in the world in our area. We have the Children's School of Pacific Oaks is a known international leader for its quality of its early childhood programs. We have the Center for Children at Caltech, which is remarkable. We have the incredible Child Care Center at PCC, Pasadena City College, which is a wonderful program, which is run by an alumni of Pacific Oaks, and Nikki Harmon, and one of my former students. And we have the Center for Early Education in La Cañada, which in addition to being an amazing educational facility, they are a national and international leader in the outdoor classroom, quality outdoor environments that really bridge the learning environment for children. Eric Nelson, also Pacific Oaks alum, has been doing amazing work, and I'm hoping that, and we're bringing outdoor classroom into the Pasadena Unified School District. In fact, I hope that it looks like we will be the first K-12, we're at least doing it in elementary, to bring the components of outdoor education into our educational environment as we do construction of new sites. Because after all, this is California. We may not have money, but we got weather. Our children deserve the best. Every single one of them. Whether their parents can pay for the program or whether it's a subsidized program. And we can do better. And what I am proud to say is that all of those programs I mentioned, all those high-quality early childhood programs that are present in our community, are all willing to partner with us and work with our district on improving the quality of our child development programs. So I believe that great things are in store for us in relationship to early childhood education, and that's going to help with the achievement gap, because research shows if you really want to do something about it, you got to get in front of it, and you got to do the work in early childhood. And so we're on the path for that. We need smaller classes, not larger ones, and don't believe anybody that tells you it doesn't matter or tells you how big my classes were in college. You made it to college. It's not the same thing, and while it's true that there are some differences developmentally, but one of the things that we know makes a difference for secondary students who are feeling borderline, not sure about this whole school thing, not sure whether it matters or not. What really seals the deal for them is to have teachers who know who they are and miss them if they're not there. And if they're not there, ask them, well, why weren't you here the other day? Where were you? That makes a difference for them. And you don't get that when the classes are large, because the teachers don't get to know the students that well and don't get to build that relationship. So, and the research supports all of this. So we need smaller classes, not larger ones. We need more professional development, and not sacrificing our professional development days to furloughs, especially with the challenges of the Common Core curriculum that Mr. Gundry spoke to you about. Furloughs save about $500,000, which is money. It's real money. But it's not going to solve our problem. And the problem created by the furlough, because the time you lose for quality professional development, it's like we're selling off our future to deal with the currency, and we've got to do it. We've got to get ready for it. So it's just not a good. It's just not a good strategy for us. It's not a strategy that strengthens and grows the district. If Proposition 30 passes, the Pasadena School District will still need to cut about $10 million for the 2013-2014 budget year, and as good and creative and comforting as Dr. Papalardo is, there's no way for him to do that for him and for Mr. Gundry and for the entire leadership team to do that without creating a great deal of pain in the district, because we don't have any excess. We passed that point a long time ago. To those who think that the answer is to eliminate the waste, I really welcome you to visit any of our campuses. Come down to the district center, and I want you to identify all this waste you think we have that can be eliminated and just make up for the millions that we've lost. If we're sitting on some wealth someplace that we don't know about, I think they'd be happy to have you point it out to them. It's just not there, even though it's popular to say. It's just not a reality. The only riches we have left are our people. And when I see what our staff and our students do with the shameful resources they have, I am moved to them, sometimes almost to the point of tears, and at the same point saddened by how little some value public education and how quick some are to sacrifice this generation of students for political expediency as much as economic crisis. I'm reminded of a bumper sticker that was popular in my day. It said, "If you think education is expensive, try ignorance." I don't know where we would be as a district without the Pasadena Educational Foundation. Their support makes our Pathways programs run, provides summer schools to hundreds of students, and really truly brings our community together in a way to support public education, which we just don't have the staff to do otherwise. There are just all sorts of things that would not happen if we did not have the Pasadena Educational Foundation. Decisions are going to have to be made in terms about what's in the best interest of the children of our district and of our state. And while it is not my role to tell you how to vote, there is hope on the horizon. And while I can tell you this district and our board did endorse both Proposition 30 and Proposition 38, I will tell you that, speaking only for myself, that one of those endorsements was done for political expediency, and one was done from the deepest depths of my heart. And you can figure out which one that is. You might get a clue by the button I'm wearing. If Proposition 38 passes, we see money flow directly to the schools. Blair will see almost $1.25 million flow directly to the campus in the 2013-14 year. Decisions on how to use that money will be made at the school level, and it has to be approved, and they have to come up with a plan that will then be approved by the board. That's the way it works. But I have tremendous faith in this campus, in this community, as I do all of ours. And we have cut so much has been taken away. I think people at the school site level would have to work really hard to make bad decisions on what to do with some extra money, because they've lost so much. The Pasadena School District will receive in excess of $19 million in the 2013-14 academic year, which we could sorely use. The Pasadena, it would be, I already said that part about not telling you how to vote, but if you want to know how to vote, look around. Take a look around and see our students. Some of you this morning have tasted the results of their hard work, and you know that they are counting on you. Visit any of our schools. You might want to start with a tour of Blair since you're here this morning. Oh, Brian Berry is back there. He went to Blair too, right, Brian? Yeah, he went to Blair. Okay. Visit gopublic.org to see one of the 50 films that takes an honest look at what happens in our schools on a daily basis. And I don't care whether you live in Pasadena, Altadena, or Sierra Madre. I don't care if you live in Central Pasadena, Old Town, Linda Vista, Northwest. These are your schools. These are your kids. Don't cheat them of the opportunity that we were all afforded. California has moved from being among the first to the worst in terms of how we fund public education. All of it in my lifetime. And I'm not that old. So do what's right by them and this wonderful community. We will all reap the rewards of investing in these kids. We need them. Do not punish them for excesses that you believe exist based on politicized remarks. It takes money to educate kids. And there's just no two ways about it. So the state of our schools, the state of our district, I'm going to say it's hopeful, because I am very hopeful that the people of this state will do the right thing by the children of our district, by our state, and bring us the resources we need so that next year, whoever does this, because it won't be me, will be able to tell you wonderful things of what's going to happen with the new resources that have been directed at our school district. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and go PUSD.